Good day everyone, you're welcome back to this channel. What I have today is how to cut a perfect basic sleeve pattern, and trust you're going to enjoy this video. Just take your time and watch to the end. Now let's get started. Now here is my pattern paper which I'm going to use, and in cutting your sleeves there are some things you need to have or get. You need to know your cap's height, the cap height. You need to know the bicep circumference, and the bicep circumference is your upper arm, the arm very close to your armpit, and is the biggest part of the arm. So that is what we call biceps. And you need to know the length of your sleeve, and the down part, the mouth sleeve. So those are things you need to know. So right now I'm going to start. So I'm going to fold this, and we have different kinds of different types of sleeve. We have long sleeve, we have 3/4 sleeve, we have short sleeve. But for the purpose of this, I will be making use of the one from the cap to the elbow, around the elbow, or very close to the elbow. So as you can see me, I've fold this paper into 2 equal parts. Now the first thing I'm going to do right here is to check if the width for this pattern will be enough for me. And how do I determine it? Is to first get the bicep circumference, that is half of the bicep circumference. In this case, the bicep circumference is 13. That is the circumference. So I will be using the half, and of course it's half because the pattern paper is folded into 2. So 13 divided by 2, I will be having 6.5. So I'm going to add extra 1 to that 6.5, giving me 7.5 inches. So let me first check if this is okay by me. I have almost 8.5, so it's okay. Now I'll need to know if the length will be okay. The length for this is 10. I'm using 10. Now you can see I have like 11.5 inches, so it's okay for me. So right now I'm going to start. Now the first thing I'm going to do right here is to determine my cap height. And how do I do that? So it's a simple formula, very small formula I need to add here or apply here. And the formula is the bust circumference divided by 12. In this case, the bust circumference is 36. 36 divided by 12 gives me 3 inches. So I'm going to add extra 0.5 to it, which gives me 3.5 inches or 3.5. So from this edge here, I'm going to mark my 3.5 inches. So I have it here. So I will also go to this point and mark 3.5 inches. So the next thing is to connect these lines together, and that is what I'm going to do right now. I connect together. So I have it here. Sorry, I hope you can see it clear, but for me it seems it's not bold enough. I'm so sorry for this. So I want to make it very bold so that you can see it clearly. I think it's okay like this. So the next thing I'm going to do now, having mark my cap height, now automatically this line becomes my bicep line. So what I'm going to do is to impute the half of my bicep, which I calculated the other time, 6.5 plus 1. So I have 7.5. So I'm going to impute, mark 7.5 on this line. So I have it here. Can you see? So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to mark the length I'm using for this sleeve, and I said it's 10. So I have my 10 here. So I'll quickly extend it to the other side here. I mark 10 also. I have it here. So I will also connect these lines together. So now is for me to add my seam allowance or my hem allowance, sorry. So I will be making use of 1 inch. As you can see here, I have less than 1.5. So I will just leave it like that. Let me just leave it like that. But yours could be 1 and yours could be on 1.5. Now, the next thing I'm going to do right now, having got the bicep line, haven't marked it. This is where it stops. So from this point, I'm going to make a diagonal line from this edge here to this point which I've marked. So I make a diagonal line. Can you see? So right now, I'm going to measure what I have here from that point to where I've marked. I have 8 I have 8 1/4. So I'm going to divide this 8 1/4 by 2. So if you don't know how to do it, just place your hand on that 8 1/4 and you use the same rule measuring tape and divide it equally like this. Can you see? So I'm going to press this together to give me a crease line, so that will be a guide for me. So this is my crease line. So from there, I'm going to place it on the edge there. So here is my crease line. I have it 4.2 inch. So I'm going to add extra 1 inch to it. So I will be having it somewhere here. So whatever you mark, you divide by 2, then you add 1 inch to it. That will be from that uh, edge here to that point. So in this case, I have it here 5.5 plus. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to look for the midpoint of this line here. From here to here, I will look for the midpoint. So once I get the midpoint, so you can also use your measuring tape like what I've just done here. In order not to stress you, just divide it equally using your measuring tape. Place it on that point where my hand is right now and press the measuring tape together to give you a crease line. So that will be a guide. So I'm going to place it on the edge here. So I have the midpoint here. So it is on this midpoint I'm going to mark 0.5 upwards. I mark 0.5 upwards. So and I have it here. Let me put it here. So then here I will also look for the midpoint. From this point here to this point, I look for the midpoint. I have approximately 3 inches. So let me just mark 3 inches divided by 2. I will be having like 1.5. So let me put it in between. So here is the midpoint. So downward, I'm going to measure quarter of an inch. Quarter of an inch. So I have it here, quarter of an inch. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to take my French curve and I'm going to create a curve right here. So I'm going to create a curve right here. So can you see? So the next one is to create a curve on this down part too to meet here. So I also create a curve right here. And you see, so I've made the curve. So I can now use my free hand if I wish to make it bold, just to connect it together like that. Haven't done with this. So the next thing is to move to the down part here. Now the sleeve length for this one is 11. 11 divided by 2 gives me 5.5. So I'm going to add like 1 inch to it, or 3/4 of an inch to it. I have 5.5 plus 3/4 of an inch as my seam allowance, or even half. So let me use half. So from here, it is from here I'm going to connect to meet this. So now the down part here, what I have here, now I'm going to measure. I have, see, I'm using 0.5 as my seam allowance, so I'm having 6 inches. So I quickly bring it down here on the hem allowance. I mark my 6 inches here. So this on this base, I'm going to extend it outwardly by 1/4 of an inch like this, so I can now connect. So the first thing is to connect this point to this first. Can you see? So the next thing is to connect this one to this, so that by the time I'm folding, or by the time I'm hemming, I won't have any inconveniences. So that's just the essence why I've added 1/4 of an inch right there. Can you see? So the next thing for me right now is to cut. After I've cut this, then I can include, this is the for the back armhole curve. So for the front armhole curve, I'm going to reduce this because it's a bit deeper. That of the front armhole curve is deeper a bit than that of the back. So let me quickly cut. You remember I've added seam allowance to it, so you may be wondering why have I not. I've added it when I was imputing the my mark on the biceps line. So I will just cut it out. So as you can see right here, I've created that of the back armhole curve. So I reduce this one by 1/4 or 0.5 or 1/4 of an inch downwards, and you may decide to make it a bit deeper. So it depends on you. If you make it deeper, it's still the same. So this is what I just want you to know, that that of the front armhole curve is naturally deeper than that of the back. So can you see? And also this side, I also make it deeper, reduce it, so it will give you a perfect armhole curve even in the front. So the next thing I'm going to do, the next thing after this, is just to place this pattern on your fabric. You make sure your fabric is right side to right side, then you place it, and you place it on the table, then you place this on it like this, then you use it to cut it out. You first cut the back, After you have cut the back, then you cut only one side for this, just for this, then you are done. I hope this tutorial, you found this tutorial very helpful. If you have, kindly give it a big thumbs up. Now I really want to appreciate you for taking your time to watch this video. Please, if you have any question or you are confused regarding this tutorial, feel free to drop your question in the comment section. And if you have any comments, feel free to drop your comments as well. So here we call it, here we come to the conclusion of this tutorial. So till I come your way again, bye for now.